In a thoughtless attitude, and at the same time cruel, this mother decides to abandon her daughters and continue living alone with her new boyfriend. And one day, without showing any kind of feeling, she takes her children to a deserted place and leaves them there alone. And not even her daughter's despair made her change her mind, and then she left, without even looking behind. And with nowhere to go, the older girl asks her sister to wait for her there until she finds something for the two of them to eat. Finding a closer market, the older girl decides to go in. And inside, without thinking about the seriousness of her attitude, she decides to hide something so that she and her sister could eat. Then, she goes out the door, doing her best to hide the crime she was committing, but what she didn't know was that the market guard had suspected and found the girl's attitude suspicious. And when she returned, she was surprised by the arrival of the guard, and she started to take what was under her clothes. But luckily for her, another woman approaches to find out what was happening. And after listening, she replies that the guard can leave because she will pay for what that kid had taken and that the girl would be under her responsibility. When the guard leaves, the man calls the child's attention. She then apologizes, saying that she had done it because her sister was hungry, but she said that wouldn't be a reason to steal, and then asks if her mother hadn't taught them that. She says that she knew it was wrong, but that her mother had abandoned them. And then, she starts to explain everything that had happened since the beginning. She said that her mother would have met a new man, and that one day, her sister, after going up to a high place and not being able to come down, she saw that she could not help her either, so she decided to call her mother in the room she was in, lying with her boyfriend. When her mother heard her call, she got angry and went to see what it was, while the man stayed in the room complaining about them, and saying how annoying they were, and threatening not to continue in the relationship if nothing changes. So when her mother opened the door wanting to know what had happened, she told everything and the two went out to help her sister. Arriving there, the mother took the girl in her arms and left with them, but when she got home, she started screaming at her, saying that she was tired of that life, and that she was not even good enough to take care of her younger sister. At that moment, the mother's boyfriend also arrives yelling and saying that he was also tired of that situation, and that every day was a mess between the children and his girlfriend, and that's why he would leave. So the mother desperately asks him not to abandon her. When he left, she started to yell with them, accusing the girls of having ended her relationship, and then sent the kids to her room immediately, as she would teach a lesson for doing that. And inside the room, she beats the girls as a punishment. A while later, the boyfriend returns to the house, and she welcomes him all happy, but he gives her the following message, that from that moment on, she should choose between him and her daughters, because he couldn't bear to live in this situation any longer, and that the girls were getting in the way of their relationship. And even though she objects, he says he didn't want to know, because if she really wanted to be with him, she should abandon them, and that if she really wanted to be happy, she should stay with him and not the girls. And then he says that this is her last chance. She has to choose between him or the girls. And choosing to stay with the man, she says she would go get the kids to leave them somewhere, and so he agrees, and leaves the house to wait outside. And already in the car, once again, she repeats how tired she was of living with the two girls, making them very sad to hear that from her own mother. And entering a place far from the city, she warns her daughters that they would both stay there. And if you want to know the outcome of this story, comment for part 2.